Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Hotep. Namaste. Jumbo. Ashe. Shalom. Do I interpret all the greetings of love and light to the darkest, most beautiful minds of the light? I am NapahShadah, and this is another episode of the SipDown. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'm drinking on some Roca tequila. Yes, añejo. It's one of those days. My voice, I'm still dealing with this weather, but I'm so glad to have everyone joining us. I want to say thank you to the guests who are coming in. We'll talk about them in a minute, but first I want to talk to my beautiful co-hosts, and ask them how they're doing and what they're sipping on. Dulcinea, how are you? What are you sipping on?
Hello. Hello, everyone. Shalom. I'm actually sipping on some rum. I don't know what it is. My husband got it. And it's like a little mixed drink. So I have a little ginger ale and juice.
That's nice. What about you, Robin?
Hello, everyone. I am sipping on tea. I'm not going to tell you what kind of tea, but of course, I've added my honey and my lemon in it, so it is delicious.
Oh, okay. Secret woman.
Mm-hmm.
Woman of many secrets. No, I'm just kidding. That didn't come out right.
Well, it fits, so it's good. It's okay.
You look beautiful. Both of you look very beautiful. So tonight, we are bringing back the sisters who are doing the work, finding the families, taking care of the people, putting themselves on the front line to, bring not just awareness to the tragic reality of missing children, missing women, missing men of our community. So they are doing the most, and I think they need the most recognition. We have Sister Nadia and Sister Delisa here. Sister Nadia is one of the co-founders of Coalition Underserved Missing Virginia, and she has worked alongside many other sisters. They also, I believe, they collaborate or at least exchange information with the Sisters of the Underground. Now, Sister Nadia and her organization, they are affiliated with the New Black Panthers. I'm going to bring Sister Nadia and Sister Delisa in. I'd like for you all to welcome them. And where are they? What happened? Where did they go? Oh, here they are. I'd like for you all to welcome them with a warm round of applause. And don't be shy. No soundboards. This is all real. Hello, beautiful sisters. Excuse my voice, everyone. It's extra raspy today.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you, beautiful sisters? Sister Nadia, Sister Delisa, welcome to the SipDown.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you having us. Thank you.
Right. Yes. I want to ask you, this is the SipDown. Did you bring yourself anything to drink, any water, any tea?
Yeah, I have some water.
Awesome. What about you, Sister Delisa?
Oh, I'm think I'm on y'all level. I mean, I have a little ginger ale and a little Luna's tequila.
There you go. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're grown in here. And if anybody deserves a drink, you ladies do. I want to say before I get started, I see my sister Benita Sutton in the crowd. Benita Sutton is one of the most amazing, beautiful sisters, beautiful mom, beautiful wife, beautiful community member.
Mm-hmm.
She just recently had her home riddled with bullets.
Oh my God.
While her son, her husband, and they were all inside. It was in the evening. She was just doing her daily wind down and, in the bath. Her son and her husband were in the living room playing video game. 24 shots.
Oh my God.
I want to talk about that. Please, anybody, excuse me. Please place Benita's Cash App in the chat. Also, the sisters, get your information, put it in the chat or pass it on. Say it so my mods, shout out to my mods so they can share, support anything that we could do to support you. But I want to talk about Benita and her family, and then I want to segue into the work that you do, because I don't think we talked about this before. I know you work with the missing, but what about the gun violence and the drive-bys and all of the when people do go missing? Like, is there any gang activity involved, sisters?
No, not necessarily. As far as the missing, it's like I mean, it's just so many cases, as I mentioned before, that just keep popping up. And sometimes, like I said, it may be domestic, sometimes it may be trafficking. And then we've had quite a few cases lately where young men have been missing and they've been found dead. One in Virginia recently was found in a shallow grave not far from the monster that took him. And I think he was about, Lisa, what was he, about 14 or 15?
He was actually 17 years old.
17. He was 17. Okay. Like I said, it's just so many. It just keeps happening. And so that's the missing. But what we have dealing with right now as well is a situation that's domestic, where Delisa was in a situation where, of course, I'm just going to give her a brief on him because this is her story, where she was in a position where she was homeless, and a friend had recommended another gentleman that was a close friend of his. He lived by himself. He was like, well, you know what? You don't have to stay there. He can put you up, you and the boys up. They were younger then. And then things happened that she didn't know about until later when her son finally told her. And so there are cases where we keep going back and forth to court until he's been in jail ever since, but he's done this to other boys. So this is his target, is boys, and finding women that are vulnerable, in a vulnerable situation with their children, and then he takes full advantage of them. Whether it's not he's taking them out places just to be a mentor or whatever. It could just be whatever, you know this guy, you trust him or whatever, and he seems like a cool dude or whatever, and actually he's a monster.
Wow. So basically, he said, I'm here for you, knew she was in a vulnerable state, and he was preying on her child.
Yes.
Yes, I have two sons, and like picking up off of what Claudia was saying, this happened 7 years ago. It's been 8 years since they actually documented on paperwork, as far as going back to 2014. The first incident took place in June of 2014. It happened again of November 2014. Prior to this happening, I was living in this shelter, and he was a very to.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this focus.
He was my boyfriend. He was a very close friend, my boyfriend. So he ended up getting a town. He ended up getting a town duplex, and he said, how about you just help me with bills, like just take over the utility, and I can help you take back and forth to school. I can help take work, things like that. And coming to a shelter and being homeless, and from place to place, to have some try to have stability as a mother, as a parent, to be stable for me, children, I thought I made the right decision. So I went on.
Your phone is breaking up bad. Your microphone.
I went on, and I proceeded to pack me and my children's belongings, and I moved into the home. And as soon as we moved in the home, the very first month was when the first sexual abuse took place with my son.
How old was your child?
My child, he is now 15 years old. This happened when he was 7, so it's been 8 years now.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So let me ask you before you continue. Mm-hmm. Both of your boys were molested by him?
No, just my oldest son. He has from what I've learned, he has a particular. It's like particular kids that he has chosen. So like what I was saying, we moved into the house, and the first month that we moved in, that's when the first incident took place. Okay. I never knew anything like this to happen. My son started
Mhm.
having epileptic seizures. I would run him to the hospital. It got to the point where the doctors did not understand why he was having epileptic seizures, but during the frame of him having his seizures, he was being sexually abused by this person that I once called my friend, a person that I once called my brother, a person that I once called like my everything, because it was he was always there hand and foot no matter what. And it hurt me bad when I first found out, and then it turned into rage, because as I learned more of what my me and my son has discussed, um I it's I can't imagine um being that. And it's hard, because I just want to say this, it's hard dealing with this day to day as a parent. I have to worry about my child's mental. I have to worry about if he gonna fall into a depression stage. I have to
Mhm.
take him to therapy through the sexual abuse advocacy program that is they made mandatory for me to do
He's
until.
still doing that?
I'm sorry.
She's saying, is he still getting therapy after all these years?
My son just started therapy. He came out with his story to me in 2021 of December.
Wow.
When
Wow.
this took place, I made the phone
Mhm.
and I called 911 as a parent. I thought I was doing the right thing with that as well. It's been up
Mhm.
and down with the prosecutor, and up and down with, um, just going back and forth to court of him continuing the cases. He did not accept the plea when we went to court in August. He did not accept the plea, so now we have grand jury trial coming up in February.
So he's denying it.
He denied the plea. He wants to go
So
before
he
grand.
denied having anything to do with your son.
My son was not the only victim. There's many other victims, and it's really sad to say, because um he's broken so much trust with mothers out here in the city. Some parents I have talked to, I understand their pain, I understand their rage, I understand their frustration, I understand how hard it is dragging your child to therapy. Some therapy sessions are better than others. Some can be just, he's not feeling therapy. I'm thankful that he is maintaining in school. My son is not letting this hinder him and hold him back. My son does want justice, and I want justice just as well as he do.
Well, sister, I feel for you. With this story, it's heartbreaking, but it's not, this is sadly not uncommon. So can we go back to, just for the sisters out there who you can help avoid, these predators fooling them to bring their children in. You said this person was one of your best friends.
He
Can you
was.
tell us, were there any, not even if it wasn't about your son particularly, any red
Mhm.
flags?
There were never any red flags. There were never any red flags. It's
Nicole
like
asked the question that I was going to ask too, because I mean, at 7 years old, and this person, was he actually penetrating? Was he actually
these are his charges that he is facing. He
okay?
is
But when Nepal just asked that, I swear I was going to ask the same question. Um, at
he is
7 years old, did you notice anything different about your son? Because it just seems like if somebody was actually, you would have noticed something, crying, can't sit down, all kinds of
Well,
stuff.
she did say the seizures.
the only thing that happened was my son started to have epilepsy. He started to have epileptic seizures, and nobody knew why he was having these seizures. Um, There
He
were
was internalizing a lot. He was internalizing a lot. It sounds like because what you telling me before with all of that happening, you didn't know because he didn't tell you. So
he didn't
now he's right.
he didn't ever come and tell me. And when he was doing this to my son, he was working at the United States Post Office. So he was working late hours at night and coming home at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. And he
Uh-huh.
Can I say something?
and he was taking my child out the room when he was sleeping with his brother and was taking him into his room. And that's what was stated. He would take him into his room. His brother knew. My son is the baby boy. He knew what happened to my oldest son before I knew. He confided in his brother because he was scared.
Yeah, that's common. And I will say a lot of you said he worked at the post office. I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't trafficked sending out child porn. Um, these people are very sick and I did a documentary series called The Clever Pedophile. Things that we never would think
Right.
to do, they study families, they study women, and they study children.
Right.
Let's go back to where you said he knew what type of child. And I want Sister Nadia to jump in, and of course my co-host can as well. But talk to us the type of child that they usually prey on. Talk to us about that.
The type of child that this monster, I must say, this monster in my story, in my situation,
Uh-huh.
this monster has preyed on children of disability, which is autism. He has preyed on timid, quiet children, children that were very small featured, like uh, they were very small, children that he knew.
Small in stature.
Uh-huh.
He had
Yeah.
he knew the mothers that lived in low income housing, and
Yeah,
he knew mothers that did not have a father in the child's life.
yeah,
That was the main thing. As I've learned over since he got arrested in March of 2022, he's been in jail ever since. I've learned so much of his character and the type of being that he is and what he looks for. All these children have the same story, and not near one of these children, but very few have ever met each other.
Was
There's
did,
Uh-huh.
was he
abuse is where my son's abuse took place in the house that we were living at. There was another young lady living with me, and he did the same thing to her son. She received no justice. It's documented.
Does he like promise the children
I have
reward?
pictures and evidence of him buying the children PlayStations, Vizio TVs, video games, taking them out to the beach. I mean, I have this,
was
and he
he ever
does
threatening them?
them quiet.
Was he threatening the children as well?
He
Because
was.
someone do that.
He was going to cut them with a knife, and he was going to kill their others.
Did you ever notice your son not wanting to be around him at all? If you can remember back, because he waited so long to bring it up to you, but can you
Uh-huh.
ever remember a time that your son didn't want to be around him and you asked your son, like, what's wrong with you or anything?
No, because it's like he never when my son was around, like during he was always around. So it won't like my
Mhm.
child come to me and literally tell mommy, this is what happened. Mommy, he did this to me. Or
Uh-huh.
and the way the house is set up, it's like a duplex. You walk into the foyer, you go up the stairs. There's a little,
Mhm.
then you have his bedroom here, the bathroom. Then you have across the living room is my room, my children. And he was coming in, taking my oldest son out of the room and taking
right.
the bedroom.
Yeah. I'm so sorry this happened to you. You know, this story, we have people listening right now who know this story personally. I mean, it's like the children feel so ashamed, and then they're guilted into keeping quiet. I want to bring Sister Nadia in, and you're very brave, and we really love you. Our hearts go out to you.
Thank
We're
you,
with
Gwen.
you, Sister Delisa. And you know, your son is not alone. That's the beautiful thing of this sad, sick tragedy, is that he's not alone, because sadly, this is so common. Nadia, Sister Nadia, talk to us about just how many children or how many of these stories you hear on a regular.
I can't say I hear it on a regular, with me focusing on the missing, but over the years, I've heard similar stories. I've read so many articles. Um, I read so many articles over the years about this happening to people. Um, and I mean myself included, personally.
Wow.
I'll just say
Wow.
that. So
Wow.
violations is 13. I'll just go ahead and put it there.
Wow.
It is what it
So
was.
sorry.
So thank you. And it's never an easy story for anybody to tell. Like I said, I just read so many articles over the years, and it's just horrible. Even in other countries, even with
Yeah.
a lot of incest situations. Oh my God, I'm not. It's just a lot. It's just a lot, and
Right.
children happen to have children by their parents. Um,
A lot of
Oh
times
my
kids
God.
do tell, and the parents don't believe them because they want
right.
to stay with whomever it is that they're with, or the mom most of the time is being
Uh-huh.
beat up by the father or the stepfather
Yes,
or whatever the situation is.
that's right, Rob.
It's just such a weird situation that you can't even
Mm-hmm.
fathom the mind of somebody that would
Right,
hurt a child like that.
right. And then the mothers suffer from PTSD a lot of times.
That's why I say she probably needs some type of therapy herself.
Yeah. Well, Delisa has gotten, does that. She does her self-care, and then she has professional assistance as well. Uh, but we really want to get the story out because in our communities, um, it's just too much of this going on when you trying to, especially single mothers, and you want, now see these boys, their father passed away a few years ago, so they don't have him in the home. You know what I'm saying? So then you want to have somebody in your children's life, especially as a single mother, that can kind of mentor them. It might be a coach, might be a music teacher, or just another type of educational teacher. You have like athletics, like
Okay.
different types of sports and things like that, where coaches will mentor them. Or they have like men's groups that get together and mentor young men and things like that, teach them how to dress properly, how to conduct themselves in public, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you have all these people in these different organizations that may mentor these young boys, or even somebody just in the neighborhood, or an uncle or somebody to say, okay, well, I hang out with them and teach them this, that, or the other. And then a lot of times it's beneficial for the boys, but then and girls too. I'm certainly not going to leave out girls, young adolescents,
Well, she
but
she probably don't. She
you
probably,
just don't know the mind of a person until after something happens, and then it's devastating for everybody, the whole family, when stuff ends up publicized as well. And then there's that stigma of embarrassment. It's just layers and layers of horror. I
Mhm.
don't know how else to describe it, but that's what it is.
I don't think I would trust anybody around my son if once I found out something was going on. Because see, like
Yes,
she said, it was someone who was close to her.
right.
So
Very close to her.
And you see,
right, I don't think I would trust anybody around my son. Period.
And
Hmm.
that's the
it,
thing.
it wasn't necessarily, he was my ex-boyfriend.
He
Huh?
was what?
He was my ex-boyfriend's best friend. They were the best
He
friends.
was your ex-boyfriend's best friend.
Yes, he was
Mhm.
my boyfriend he's my ex-boyfriend now. He was my ex-boyfriend's best friend. I found out over the time of my case that's been going on that my ex-boyfriend knew the majority of the women has been.
Wait, you're breaking up, and we need to hear this. So was he your boyfriend at the time?
At the time I was dating this guy.
Yes.
The monster that did this to my son
Was his best friend.
was my boyfriend, was my ex-boyfriend's best friend.
What
So
I'm asking, Queen, is at the time, was he your ex-boyfriend or was he your boyfriend?
He was my boyfriend.
Oh,
Me and
wow.
my boyfriend,
Mhm.
Oh, my God.
the monster was his best friend.
y'all
Okay.
the kids with him when y'all would like go out for dates and things of that nature.
The kids was with the monster. Yes,
God.
the kid. He made it okay where the monster was an outstanding guy. All the kids love him. Things of that nature. He always was around. That's what made me feel a little more comfortable because my ex-boyfriend at the time, he was older. So he a little bit older than me. So it make you feel like this man had some type of common sense and courtesy towards
Mhm.
me, but he didn't. Because let me tell you something. This same monster had a charge that was null and processed in 2011. My ex-boyfriend knew he had this charge that was thrown out of court that could have been picked up at any time by the state. I moved in with this monster in 2014. My ex-boyfriend never told me about this until after the fact of him being charged as a registered sex offender for another child in 2015.
Oh, my God. So he worked for the post office.
He used to work
Um,
at the post office. My godmother actually works at the post office. She's a supervisor. And when it first came out, and it came out, all she could say was, "Oh my goodness." She said, "I know that boy. He used to work with me."
okay, let me ask you. Was your ex-boyfriend aware of the molestation at the time?
That's what I'm on now.
Because
Not a
this is getting outrageous. You
Yes.
went through
Mhm.
hell. You've been through
not
hell.
not
Did your boyfriend at the time
do
know?
y'all mind if I smoke my cigarette?
No, of course not. Go ahead. We
Okay.
don't smoke, but we don't mind if you do.
Oh,
Especially you need a cigarette. But let me ask you, Sister Delisa, because this is okay. This is happening right now,
you
family.
asked me, did
Don't
you
be.
have any red flags? Here,
Was
here.
he was your man at the time, sister? Did he know?
Can you hear it, Delisa?
I can hear.
Okay.
Take a
Nepal
minute.
was
Take a
asking your
minute.
boyfriend at the time. Did he know?
I think she's taking a minute. It's too much. We're gonna let you
Oh,
take a
okay.
minute. Let me go to you, Sister Nadia.
Yes, yes.
Nadia,
Mm-hmm.
why are these when sisters are in need? Let's give the sister a minute. And we're here with you,
Okay.
Delisa. Thank you to everyone. The sister sharing this pain. There's nothing she could have done differently as far as her being a good mom. Could she have been
Right.
let me tell you about me. I'm a paranoid, crazy, obsessed mom because I hear stories like Delisa. But when
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm.
just a normal person moving through life, you have your man's best friend who is a great guy. You don't
Mm-hmm.
think pedophile. So this
Right.
sister, this isn't there's nothing we can say, well, she shouldn't have done this. She was just being a mom,
Right.
doing what moms do, and
Right.
the pedophiles are very clever. So Delise, I'm gonna let you take a
Oh, yeah.
minute.
I'm a,
Um,
I'm a answer. I'm ready to answer.
you ready to answer? Okay, go ahead.
Nobody
Did
never,
he
nobody.
Let me ask the question again. Did your man at the time, who was his best friend, have any idea that he was molesting your child? You're his friend.
I don't want to say that he personally knew, but when he found out that he was sneaking my son out the room, he did tell my son, boys don't sleep with boys. The only person that you share a bed with is your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go back in that room and don't sleep with boys. You don't go sleep with him because you cannot do that. He's a grown man. I remember him telling my son that.
Why would he tell your son that? I'm getting upset. Why would he tell your son that as if your son was making a choice, like
Right at 7. Come on, man.
like as if he made a choice to go do that?
I never been asked that question, but I'm not.
Take your time, Delisa.
I'm not. I never been asked that question, but I already come to my own conclusion that this man already knew.
Yes, thank you. Go with your gut now. This is
Mm-hmm.
where we start getting, you've been through hell. But this is
Mhm.
where you now say, I go with my instinct. Okay, let me ask you, Nadia,
Mm-hmm.
Jaleesa, I love you. I feel for you. Your son is going to be fine. He's in therapy. But this is common in our people. Y'all don't think it isn't common. Um, Nadia,
Mm-hmm.
when you contacted me, Queen, you said, these sisters women are in, because this is what happened with our sister Jaleesa. She was in
Mm-hmm.
a tough situation. Women they're homeless, they have children. I know women are like this because I've seen it firsthand myself. They
Mm-hmm.
need somewhere to go. They need somewhere to lay their head. Talk to us about how what can they do? Where can they go? Just shine some positive light onto this
Well,
terrible situation.
I'll say this. I'm not an expert, not even a novice in that area, to be quite honest with you. Delisa is actually the expert in that. And I'm going to say that because there's a case now that Sister Sada Shabazz, which is the co-founder of of our coalition,
Yeah,
but
we
she
had
couldn't
her
be on
on,
tonight
didn't we?
'cause
She was here
we
the other
tried
time.
to get her the last time. It's always like, well, it was a little short notice, I know, but
Right.
she has some other commitments with the school. She's excuse me, on the school board, Petersburg, Virginia. And people just calling on her all times of night and day. And she has, she just has to have a little more notice so she can fit that into her schedule. So it's a little last minute this evening, but we appreciate you having us on nevertheless. But I always mention her because that's my sister, that's my ride or die. She's just, just there for everything. And for Delisa, she was working with this young sister as well, this homeless right now, and she's back and forth staying with relatives. And then, at a certain point, the relatives don't want you there anymore. She's got a baby and she's pregnant. So she put her on conference with Delisa tonight, and Delisa's trying to help her as far as finding some place stable through the agencies. The young lady had already applied through a few, but Delisa had her Q&A with her to make sure that she'd applied through more than one agency and try to give her some direction. No, she gave her directions on specifically after she did her Q&A with her on what direction to go and to follow up on the status of all of those places that she put in for and shelters and et cetera, et cetera. So Delisa is the expert in that area. So we're so thankful to have her in the coalition because she helps a lot with posting the missing and things like that and following up on those cases. Now she's helping with the young sister that doesn't, she don't know where she's going to be living from time to time. So she's the expert in that area as far as following up on things like that. And she's doing a coat drive soon, which I'll make a fly for that soon. But she's doing that to try to make sure that, the children have coats on their back like Lawrence was doing the last time. So she's spearheading that. She has baby clothes. That's when her job gave her a whole box full. So she's going to give some of those to the young lady who's homeless because she has a young child and she's pregnant about, I think she's doing about 4 months or whatever. So it's a lot going on
Wow.
with that. But Delisa is taking the lead on that. Asada was like, well, because she has a lot of connections with the city and things like that. But Delisa was able to tell Asada, well, has she done this? Has she done that? She was like, let me get on conference so you could talk to her. So Delisa is definitely giving back in more ways than one, and we just love her to pieces. She's just, whenever you need her to do something, whether you ask her to do it or she takes the initiative and do it, it's going to get done. So we're so thankful to have her, but just seeing her going through these struggles, because she's had to, like, she had been homeless. Then she was living with somebody that seemed like she was a trusted friend. Then you find out that's not it. So then, she was talking to us tonight. Okay, well, she had to apply for public assistance and moved into the project. She was like, okay, she gave herself 5 years to get out of there and get into another home. She did that in 3.5 years. So she has her
That's
her
beautiful.
home, right? So she has her story, but her struggle has been like climbing a ladder. She's not gonna stay on the bottom run of the ladder. She just kept on pulling herself up, pulling herself up, and she's still not finished because she has goals to actually buy a home now. So I'm just so, oh my God, I don't know what to say about this sister, but she's just a godsend to us, to the community. And she may not feel like she is because of, the stuff she's been through, but you know some people say your struggles make you stronger, and sometimes your struggles just get you to the point that you just feel like you can't do anything else. But she just kept, and she probably felt despair. I've been in situations where I felt despair, whatever, but she keeps on pushing ahead, and I just feel so much for her with going through this, especially when it's been all this time later that she found out the specifics of what happened with her son and things. And then the other son was carrying that burden as well, for his brother. And so, those brothers are very tight. They're very protective of one another, and they're extremely protective of their mom. Extremely protective of their mom. These are big
Right.
boys now. You know what I'm saying? The oldest one's 15 now, and these are not no little wimpy children anymore. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
not those little types that he was looking for, that are just some little teeny skinny children that he could overpower, whatever.
Right.
These
Wow,
are
this is so
She raised some
sad.
big healthy boys now. I'm just saying that period is over.
Yes, I hear you, sis. I hear
Hmm.
you, Queen. I want to ask you, Sister Delisa, and it's so beautiful that Sister Nadia shows you so much support
I,
and love, and that you love each other. These sisters are the sisters of the Coalition Underserved Missing Virginia.
Hmm.
So please, mods, please place their information in the chat. And they are also affiliated with the new Black Panther Party. Correct, Sister Nadia?
Yes, that's correct. And Delisa is a very recent member, but she's been working with us all this time in the meantime. And we were trying to kind of wait to bring her in because especially and Sister Masada, uh, because she was going through all of this, you know.
Right.
Uh,
I wanna ask Sister Delisa. I wanna go back if it's okay. I know it's hard for you, and maybe Dulcinea jump in. Robin, I don't know where you are, but she'll be back. I
mhm.
wanna ask you about your son, the one who was victimized, who was molested. Did he look at this person as a father figure?
no.
Okay, talk to us about the relationship. What kind of relationship did your son have with him? Were they good? Was he
He,
on the surface? Did it look like a good relationship?
my children called him Uncle. I can't say his name, but they called him.
Uncle.
They called him Uncle.
Hmm.
That's how they looked up to him.
So they did like him. Did
It's,
he
Listen.
joke around? Was he always telling jokes?
he will always hold them, especially my oldest one. Will always hold him like he was too big to be held like a baby, but he will always cradle him and tickle him and do little stuff. But I was sitting right. He would do that. I was around, so I didn't think it was weird with him playing and interacting. When my
Hmm.
there, it was other boys there too, and it had been times that they cheat the night. But then my youngest son was never invited because he called him bad.
Well, you're breaking up because what?
he never he would have like pizza parties with my children, with my oldest son and other little boys, but my youngest son was never involved because he would call him the bad one.
Oh, he's the one who couldn't keep a secret. That's why.
Yeah, and my youngest son would have probably bit him or fought him or did something and made a scene, and then because he would have, that's how my youngest son is. My oldest one at the time is more timid. He was more laid back. He was quiet. He had social problems, like he couldn't make friends. Um, at one point in time, he didn't know how to communicate. Um, when it came down to me trying to talk to my son, it was like it was normal. When I wanted to talk to my son, he was always around, but it wasn't just for me to talk. It wasn't for me to talk to my son about.
It's you, Robin.
He was
You
always
know.
around, but it wasn't just for me to talk. It wasn't for me to talk to my son about.
That's feedback.
Hear it.
Yes, it's your TV.
That's
Robin.
feedback.
Go ahead. Does any Dulcinea, Robin? I want you to weigh in on this. I want to hear from you, Dulcinea. You first. Well, how are you feeling about this? The obvious, of course, but I want to hear from you, and then Robin.
Yeah, it's definitely something that like hits close to home. It's
Robin.
very scary.
Obvious, of course, but
When
I want to hear from
I
you, and then Robin.
was
Robin.
struggling with my son being autistic, and very
Uh-huh.
scary.
One second.
Uh, that he's
Okay.
nonverbal right now currently. It was really scary to be sending him off anywhere because the main scariness for me, I'm like, how is he going to tell me if anything is happening? I can look at his behavior, I can see he's upset or anything, but sometimes because you tell him no. So knowing the difference of like something's actually happening to him is very scary, and that's why I'm definitely getting somewhat help, but I don't even want to go as far to be like he's just gonna always be somewhere where I'm not because I'm scared for that. So I'm so
Right.
sorry to your son.
Right. Right. So let's address this question. Thank you, Dulcinea. Actually, the statement. All of these issues would be resolved if fathers were head of their homes. Is there some truth in that, ladies? Is this happening to women because they are alone and they're being preyed upon because they don't have a man present?
Me personally, I can't say that because I thought I had a man, at least a good, outstanding man that was playing a father role, even though my children had their biological father at the same time. So to know that this boyfriend at the time of mine introduced me and my children to this monster, I can't say if it happens. I can't agree with that. I agree to disagree because, like I said, I had somebody, and my children had their
I'm
father.
having issues. I can't hear anybody.
We can hear you, Robin, but you need to go out and come back in, sweetheart.
But like I was saying, I mean, I thought I would, I was doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
They had their father. He's deceased now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wow.
like I said, I still had my boyfriend during this time too, and this is the same man that I trusted, that I had been with throughout the whole time of my homelessness, and even moving into the house with this man, he was still there, and it just takes me back to you asking me why would he always tell my son that he should not go in the room with him or sleep with him,
Mm-hmm.
why he should not go spend the
Why
night
would he
with him,
say that? Yeah, that bothers me.
because at
Yeah.
the same time, like I said, I pay attention to a lot of things, and I've
Why
learned
would he
a lot.
say that? Yeah, that bothers me.
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot within these last. I pay attention to a lot of things. 9 months.
Why would he say that? Yeah, that bothers me.
I've learned a lot. I mean, because
I can't hear
mom,
anything.
my youngest son, and he said, "No, you need to stay with your
There's something
brother."
wrong.
It seems to me that this man knew very well that his friend was a pedophile, but he was in denial. I wouldn't say that he was a part of it, but I think he knew, obviously, that his friend liked little boys.
What made me think that he is a part of it? Because I'm going to say that is because for the simple fact of this man, from what I've learned in my own case since March, this man, my ex-boyfriend, has been to court with this man. He spoke in his defense for this man. His mother even played a pity role when we went to the trial. I mean, not trial, excuse me. When we went to court and he denied the plea in August, she broke down crying and stated that this same monster did the same thing to two of her family members. These people knew the women that this monster have attacked these little boys. They knew. It's a lady I know right now who works in the housing authority here in my city. Her children were victimized by the same monster, and he was his ex. My ex-boyfriend was her he was ex-girlfriend at the time. Same as these other young ladies. He knew, but how did they all of a sudden use this monster? Because of him. See, when I was in and I moved, it was always a party time for my ex-boyfriend. We could go out. We have a babysitter. We can go to the country and go party and you can free your mind. But he was the monster was always the babysitter.
Wow.
Knowing
So
that
how was your son
thrown out of court, that could have been picked up at any time, and he was convicted in 2018 of sexual aggravated assault. He is now facing 4 felony charges for my son, 2 forcible sodomy charges and 2 felony sexual aggravated battery charges.
Oh God, this is so terrible.
Did
God,
anyone say anything
he
about
was 7 years
his
old.
exes or the biological father of the children? Did they like
He
him,
passed
or did
away.
anyone say, "Hey, I don't really like this guy that you're dating"?
No, because he presented himself as a stand-up guy. He used to tell my children's father, "Well, you see what I did? I bought them a pair of shoes. I make sure they're good." My children's father, because he was a lot older than me, he had a lifestyle, but he changed his lifestyle, and he was always, despite what he's done, my children's father was never absent in my children's life. He's always been there no matter what. My children's father knew I was in the shelter. He knew I was getting myself together. He knew I was working to get a place for me and my children. He's the one who allowed me to have physical custody of my children because he knew he was sick. And my children's father passed away of cancer. That's why he is not here. If he was here, I don't think that I don't think all this would be happening.
Right. Are you how's your son doing? I know he has therapy, but and he's 15 now. First off, how long was he being molested by this guy?
The entire time that we were there at his house.
How long is that?
From 2014, I believe we left in 2000. From June of 2014 until November, December, and it could have been like right in the beginning of January of 2015. So it was within that.
So he had a relationship of rape and torment for a year. when I say relationship, I don't mean love. I mean, this man was telling him, be quiet, tormenting him.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he say about that now, like in his therapy? Does he know it wasn't his fault? Does he know that was a sick relationship? Or does he think because when your ex told him that, it's like he's trying to solidify in this child's mind, you're making this choice. So does he know that wasn't any of his fault now?
My son never thought it was his fault.
Good.
He knew that the man he called his uncle was wrong. And he was just tired of it eating him up on the inside because he wanted to come out with his identity of his own personal self. And this is how all this came about. He sat me down when I came home. My son sat me down when I came home from work and asked me, Mom, can I?
How old was he? 15?
He was 14 at the time. He turned 15 June of this year in 2022. He sat me down on the bed and said, Mommy, can I talk to you?
Oh.
And I am just getting off of work. I'm tired and I'm out of it, but I'm talking to my kids regardless. So I'm like, yeah, son. He got himself comfortable. He laid across the foot of my bed and let it all out. I just looked at him and I gave him the biggest hug. I squeezed him so hard. And I told him I love him and I'm going to take care of him.
I'm so sorry. I want everybody to just take a minute to understand the pain to hear your child tell you that. I haven't had that, but I can imagine you feel so hurt that you might feel responsible at that moment, but you didn't do anything.
I held myself accountable because I said maybe if I would have stayed in the shelter, I wouldn't have had to go through this. If I would have,
No.
And I did. I beat myself about it. I beat myself about a detective. I had a good detective that been working with me this whole time. She had put footwork in. She's done she's done a great job. I've never seen somebody move so fast. I never seen a police officer that just is on it like she is. She keeps in contact. She calls me. She checks on the kids. She is putting in footwork, extra work for the prosecutor. That's how we was able to get the 2 more felony forcible sodomy charges brought back on him because she had to go before the grand jury and present that back.
So you had to fight for them to prosecute this guy.
And not just, he hasn't even been prosecuted yet. We don't go to trial until February. But the thing is, I had to call the courthouse a few weeks ago. They had him as if he had habeas warrants out for his arrest while he's already locked up. The people didn't even put the information into the jail box so that they can go and serve him with his new felony charges for my son. And it took me to call the courthouse to have that done for the police officer or the marshal or whoever to go to the jail to indict him with the 2 other charges. And this just took place back in November, just last month, a few weeks ago.
So do you help other sisters do what you're doing with the justice system? And because it sounds to me like, I know a little bit about how the justice system doesn't work when it should very well. Do you help other sisters get justice for their children or for their situation?
I have a young lady right now that has become, I guess you could say we're acquaintances, but it's sad to say because we both were in a situation by the same person. We more than acquaintances. I don't want to speak on her so much, but yes, we both have cases in the same courthouse. They want to merge our cases together, but I guess now because he denied the pleas, they have just gave him the 4 charges he's facing for my son.
So he did this. I don't mean to jump. I want to clarify. This is another woman who also he victimized her child. So he's a serial pedophile.
He's victimized another young lady's son that I know. He victimized a young lady I took down to the police department so she could draw a case out on him for her autistic son.
Oh God.
Another young
Listen,
lady.
do you let the people? I think we should make sure that people, because he will be in jail.
Oh,
Let the people who are in jail know. Will they be able to know what he's done? All the cases. I mean the other prisoners.
Well, from the type of prison that they want to send him to is a maximum security prison where he's locked in 23.
One moment, y'all.
Where he's locked in 23 hours a day, and he's only allowed to be out once, 1 hour a day, but he's not in population.
Yeah, because you know why? He would get what he deserves if he was in population.
And right now, either at the local jail here in the city, he's in protective custody. They call it PC. So he's in protective custody right now. He is being watched closely because in the past, it was noted that he felt suicidal and things like that.
Oh, please. That's just the act.
It's all a cop out. The same excuse I got when we went to for the plea deal. They said he did not take the plea because he had heartburn. I've heard
heartburn. Did you say heartburn?
I've had heartburn. I've heard so many sorry sob stories of why he's continued these court cases that it does not make any sense. He's been denying and continuing court since June of 2022. He's been locked up since March 18th, 2022. And why they locked him up for my son on March 18th, 2022, they found out he victimized another little boy within that same week of him locking up for my son.
Damn. Oh, let's talk about the healing. I want to tell you first off, first, you let us know where people can stay in touch with you, where they can follow you, how they can support, share your information so my mods can continue to share it. But let's talk about the healing. I want to get back to that because your son is a survivor and he's a beautiful person. Because from what you said, just a little bit you said, he came to his mama and said, "Mom, it's time for me to let you know what happened." He didn't have to do that.
Right.
He didn't have to. Oh, and Sister Nadia, I want to come to you. I want to talk to you about the healing, Delicia.
Okay.
Delisa. Is it Delicia? Delisa. Your name does change after the road. No, I'm just kidding. It did not change. I love you, sis. No, I love you, sis. I feel you. I wish we could we all are giving you a virtual heart hug from where we are. But talk to us about your son's healing, what a great child he is. I want to hear the positive, and then I want to go to Sister Nadia and talk to her about some of your experience, Nadia, because you did say you experienced this. I want you to talk about, because we can speak to you directly. We don't have her son here. But hold on. No, you're not in the back, Robin. You need to go out and come back in because it wouldn't let me let you in. So go out, and I was looking for you. Go out and come back in. Now you're in the back right now. I just now saw you come in because I keep checking. Are you there? Yay. Okay. So wait. Okay, about your son, his healing, what he's doing, what he's into as a young man. Talk to us.
Well, LaRon is a bright-eyed kid at the end of the day. He has his up and down days. He has identified that he has depression because he has moments where he just want to be like left alone or to himself. And he asked me about depression one time, and I took notice of how he was acting in the house. laying on the couch. He cut his phone off. He screamed on some of his friends before cutting his phone off, and they didn't understand why he wanted to be left alone um, at the time. But now he has some very good friends, a good group of friends that he hangs with after school because he's in a school program. He also um, is running a LGBTQ after school on Wednesdays for his high school with other group of kids. He's also in the ACE program after school that teaches him how to cook, um, like daily living skills, and it gives him time to socialize and be around children that come from other different backgrounds, whether it's abuse or whether it's, just anything. And they get to sit around and talk about it. And he feels that's like safe haven. He feels safe doing that. His grades, his report card, his teachers, they tell me all the time if we had more of him, it might be a little bit easier for us. They give me good feedback on LaRon. LaRon is always raising his hand to help somebody, or he's walking around the class, doing what he do, and he's
Is
just
he a sophomore?
yes, he is a sophomore.
So he's a beautiful kid who tries to do the best he can in his life, and he has great goals.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
His goal.
Well, if he ever hears this, or if he's watching, we love you, LeBron. You're not alone, and you know this. There's so many people suffering. We have Sister Nadia. She says she's experienced that, but it's not just her. Each one of us in our community has a story, whether or not it's your story personally. You know a story or two or three or four or five or 10 about molestation. So we love you, Delisa. There's her. Yes, we put your Facebook information. Family, follow the sisters with their movement and their organization. Coalition Underserved Missing Virginia. I want to ask you, Sister Nadia. You said this you had a similar situation at age 13. Is this part of what prompted you to help sisters?
Yeah, yes and no, because for my situation, I was like, I just didn't talk about it.
What'd you say?
I just didn't talk about it. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn
You
my
didn't
volume
talk about it.
up. Okay.
So,
can you hear me better?
I hear you. What do you mean you never talked about it till recently, or have you ever talked about it?
No.
I think I removed Delisa.
I didn't.
Delisa, come back.
Delisa still there?
What happened? If you don't mind sharing as much as you can. And we're doing this. We're not looking. First off, nobody's looking, Lou, because everyone in this community has a family member or yourself experienced this.
Right.
It's just who's brave enough to say. So go ahead, sis.
Okay.
Go
Bear
ahead.
with me 1 second.
Sure. And while you do that, Robin,
step outside because my
yeah.
grandchildren in the house, they don't know about that.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can get some more light. There we go. It's a little better.
You have grandchildren?
Yeah, I have grandchildren. I have 2 grandsons and a granddaughter. So I worry about everything. My daughter, I have 2 sons. They're all adults, and it's like with the situation with me, it was I was 13. I was in middle school, and I was hanging out. I told Delisa about it today, and it's something I don't talk about. My best friend at the time, she knew, but I never told my parents.
To this day.
So yeah, my great aunt and uncle raised me from 2 weeks old. So and they were older then, so they went to their graves not knowing that, because I was ashamed, because I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. I had all the advantages, didn't want for anything, didn't need anything. We were upper middle class household, that sort of thing. So that would have been very disappointing to them. I don't know how my father would have reacted.
Right. I know what
Um,
you mean.
you know what I mean? So I just kept it to myself. But I was with a friend that I known since kindergarten. Her name was Crystal. And there was a neighborhood right across the street from my middle school, and she wanted to go over there because she was talking to some boy, and they were like he was like a couple of grades ahead of us. I can't remember if he had already graduated and went to high school. I can't remember, but anyway, we went over there after school. So she wanted to holler at him or whatever. Well, I didn't know that she won't just going over there to holler at him.
Right.
I didn't even know she was active. You know what I'm saying? I'm a
She was
virgin,
going
like
over there for a booty call.
for a tete-a-tete or whatever you want to call it.
No,
You
but
know,
that
yeah.
has happened to me before, so I know you tell the truth. You be
Mhm.
innocent when you're young, and your
Yeah.
girlfriend is like, and the next thing you know, you're sitting out there like, what's she in there doing?
Yeah. So
But
yeah, it was that
anyway,
sort of thing. Well, I get over there and he has a brother.
I know you're not lying.
He has a brother.
I know you're not
So he
lying.
decided his brother not gonna have all the fun. He's gonna have some fun too with me, and literally dragged me up the stairs.
I am so sorry.
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
So I never told, and
God.
I just didn't. Nobody know that I was damaged down there bleeding. You know, anybody. You know, because it was like somebody's making love to you for the first time, you know, you're a virgin or whatever, they're
I'm
gonna take it
so sorry.
easy. You know what I'm saying? Just be gentle. And it was none of that.
I know. You
So
know,
no.
Sister Nadia, thank you.
I,
Let me ask you though, how old was he?
13.
He was the same age.
13. I was yeah, because I started seventh grade at 12.
You
So it was
remember
probably I
yourself
had already
fighting
turned
him?
13, yeah. hmm
You remember yourself fighting him?
I remember yeah, trying to wriggle under him and telling him to stop, leave me alone, try to get from under him. It was like,
You must
you
have
know,
been
he's a
really
dude, he's
tiny.
over. Yeah, I was. I was probably about a size 5. Certainly not a size 5 now, but I was a beanpole, and it was like and he
Oh
wasn't
my
big, but he
God.
was bigger than me, you know, and
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
he could,
What was your
he was a
girlfriend?
dude,
She
he could
didn't know
overpower me.
something was going on.
That girl don't give a shit about none of that. All she knew was she was there to get her groove on or whatever. You know,
Yes, at
I'm her
those
friend,
ages, sometimes they
supposedly.
think stuff is
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, right, right. I mean, these dudes were so disgusting that they had a little dog in the house. It was a small dog. I don't know what kind of dog it was. But one of them, I remember him putting his foot up under his genitals until he was like, watch this, watch this. It made the dog ejaculate. I was like, you know what?
Oh my Father God.
Yeah, they was,
I,
as my mother
This
would
is the
call them, they
same
were
guy who
common.
attacked you
Yeah. I can't remember if it was him or
before
his
or
brother that
after?
did that. I just remember that incident when we was in the house. That was before he even dragged me upstairs.
Oh my God.
hmm
when you
We
got
have a
older, did you
problem in
ever
our
see him?
community.
Hmm?
Did you ever see him when you got older?
Yeah, I mean, we went to the same school. He was just a couple of grades ahead of me.
Oh
I
my
thought you said you were both 13.
No, oh no, no, no. They were a couple grades ahead of me. I can't remember if his brother had already graduated and gone to the high school nearby. I can't remember that. But both of them were older than both of us.
Hmm.
And I know the one that attacked me was still in middle school. So these boys, it's not like it's really the older ones that start doing this. They can start at almost any age once they reach puberty or whatever. Because like they were probably about Deron's age, then they were about 15, at that time. And I just turned 13. Shit, I was just 12 a minute ago. You know what I'm saying? I didn't
What do you
know.
think was going on with these boys? Why are they? You
They
think they
always in
possibly were
competition.
molested?
Well, they're always in competition. Just from being in school and listening to their conversations and stuff, and then they like locker room stuff and all. They always in competition as who can get whose draws, for lack of a better way of putting it, and who they can convince to do this with, or they'll get together in groups and just hang out. Everybody's sexually active and get the groups, or they'll skip school. We used to call it hooking school back in the day. So they hook
Hmm.
school or go to somebody's house whose parents not home and all. Yeah, it was all of that. And I was the
Playing
one that's
hooky.
not gonna skip
Playing
school.
hooky.
I wasn't gonna do
It
it.
was called playing hooky, right?
Yeah, and
Did
we would just call it
they
hooking. We gonna hook
lie
school. We
on
gonna
you
hook
at
school today.
school?
You know, that sort of thing. You gonna hook? Oh, they having a hooking party at somebody's house. I'm not
We
going
called
over
it
there. You going over there? No, I'm not going.
ditching. We would call
Yeah.
it ditching. What did you guys call it, Robin? Ditching?
No, hooking school. Hooking
What
school.
about you,
Y'all call
Dulcinea?
it hooking school?
You called
Skipping,
it hooking school, Dulcinea?
no ditching
Huh?
or skipping.
Because
Skipping rope.
Ditching, yeah.
y'all must be spicy.
I didn't skip though.
We called it
Well, when I
ditching.
went to school, it was all black. It was never no white. I don't know if she did, but the schools I went to was just predominantly all black, and
Yeah, mine were
I
all
never heard the ditching until I got to the schools that was
Kind
mixed.
of mixed. Yeah.
Mhm.
Did they
I went to
go
private
back to
school.
the school and say anything, or did they like say that he took your virginity or anything like that, or they kind of
No,
were?
She
Okay.
didn't
no,
tell anybody.
none of that. None of that.
I'm
So
gonna
the
be
same
honest with
guys, the
everybody.
boys. Okay.
I don't know. I
Well,
don't know what he said to anybody, but you know, boys, they're brackets.
He
So
probably told his
I don't
brother.
know.
I'm quite sure.
I never heard it, but you know, I don't know.
they
But boys
probably
are
probably
brackets.
told him that it was consensual.
Probably
Yeah,
if he said anything, I don't know. They
because
was
she was
just
over
those
there with
kind
her
of dudes.
girlfriend, so you
Well,
know.
see, they were nice looking guys, and they were very, very popular. So you know, it was just that sort of thing. But I didn't say anything. But
Well, you know what? This is happening
it
to
was a lot.
our girls.
It
Let's
was a
talk
lot.
about the girls being taken.
Hmm.
Um, it boils
Well,
down
Nicole,
to
before you get into that, can we ask about how people feel about when it's the girls taking advantage of the boys?
Oh, sure. Well, there are girls that, of course, do that. You know, some people call them little fast little girls or whatever.
Hmm.
You
Or
know,
making
and
or putting the boys in the situations where they see you got to be really, really careful. In my experience growing up, you know what I mean,
hmm
because you can give the boys wrong impressions.
mm,
And a boy's gonna be
yeah,
a boy. So, at those ages, I don't even think they
right.
thinking straight. But
Yeah, that's
little
true.
girls take advantage of boys as well.
They
You know
do,
what
and
I'm
grown
saying? They
women take
do.
advantage of boys. You know,
Absolutely.
how do
And
you
we
think
were
they
talking
take
about
advantage as far as when you say the wrong
the
impression?
babysitter.
I know there are women who rape children,
hmm
But there's little girls
but
that
I
do
mean,
stuff to
like, do
boys
you think
too.
girls were dressing sexy?
Yeah, I think little girls, I tell you, one day I was in my house and I was waiting
You
for
told us that story.
yeah, and what the little girl
No,
was
but
doing.
go ahead and tell. You didn't. I forgot. You didn't tell it live. Tell it now.
Well, one day I was
Wait. Disclaimer. Get your children out of the room.
one day I
Okay, I
was
don't have any.
waking
Okay.
up. I was waking up like in the afternoon. I was waiting for General Hospital to come on. So around General Hospital time, the kids is getting off the bus.
hmm
So my little girl was, I looked out the back door. I said, what's going on back there? Oh, it was about 3 or 4 little boys with their little pants down, and she was giving them all fellatio. Like she was giving
How
them all.
old were they? How
They
old
couldn't
were
have
they?
been no more than about, God, I say 11, 12, maybe. I'd say 12. I'd say they
Oh
at
my
the age where now they at 12, and she must have, you know, now she's like boys, or I don't know what she was doing it for. So I'm hollering, saying all kinds of stuff out the window to her, like you better stop, and I'm gonna this, that, and another. I'm gonna whoop your behind when I come down there. I was just saying all kinds of stuff. So when I
God.
got around there, of course they all ran. Her little girlfriend was sitting there waiting for her. Had her book bag, like she knew, like they talked about it. Like I'm
Hmm.
gonna go back here and do this, and she's out there waiting with the girl's book bag, and I made her show me where the
Right.
little girl lives at.
Hmm.
And I said, I went down and I told her mom, I said, I was so mad. I wasn't even thinking, should I said, I'm gonna whoop your daughter's behind. But I was, I was mad, so I was saying little stuff. She
Other
was like, well,
things.
what happened? I said, your daughter's around the corner. I was just saying, and in the backyard, um, going down on these little boys.
Hmm.
And the mom was like, I told her about that. I was like, what? Like, it's so weird. What do you mean? So I'm just saying, little girls do stuff too. And if
Hmm.
you telling the little
But
boys that you're going to do that to them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's taking advantage of them too. Because of course they little boys. They don't.
but
They just for the experience alone, they're gonna want you to do it.
But it's just
You
the
know what
fact
I'm
that they
saying?
all lined up for their
All lined up
turn.
with
Yeah,
the
I don't know if they were
parents and the
taking
whole nine.
advantage. I don't think they were being taken advantage of.
Mentally, I'm saying if you are if you're going through puberty at those ages, both are going through puberty. And like I
Mhm.
said, I personally would say that I don't think girls and boys should be in the same classroom at a certain time. They don't know how to deal with the fact that nature's about to take charge and you're about to start liking each other.
Well, yeah,
So
they reach their pubescent age, then they are going to start like each other. I mean, that's
right.
only natural. And I know Nepal said something earlier about attending private school, but I've gone to attend a parochial school, and it
I
was
Yeah, I
think
no
went to
difference in.
parochial school too.
Yeah, so it was no difference when I went there, the St. Mary's in Norfolk. It was no difference between them as far as the boys there, they're pubescent too, as it
right.
was when I was in public school. So
You still
um
got to be careful in them all girls
Yeah, I
schools
would
because
say
they
that
start
it's
trying to
it's
make it the
usually a
other way.
cycle when this is happening or anything. I know a lot of guys, and obviously they don't say it like they were molested, but they were molested at a young age by older girls. I knew someone molested
Babysitters.
at 6 by a
yeah.
13-year-old girl, and different things like that. But they say it like, "Oh yeah, we were just playing around, or we were doing like
Mhm.
games or whatever," and it led to that, and they didn't want to seem as a victim. But usually with those girls that are doing it too, something's happening to them, and it's just this
Right. And
Or
sometimes
they're
they acting
seeing
out.
stuff on TV. You know
cycle.
what I'm saying? It's just
Yes.
it's I think they just going through the mental seeing stuff and want to experience it, or their hormones is changing
Right.
and they accidentally touch something or whatever, and like, oh, okay, well, I
Yeah.
don't know. I personally don't think that girls and boys should be in the same classroom until they're
Mhm.
old enough. But then you got to worry about the other people. I'm gonna leave it at that. Like,
You got to worry
I
about
ain't trying to mess
teachers. You
with.
got to worry
I'm
about
talking about the other
janitors. You got to
people,
worry about
any other
everybody.
people. The other people
Girls
that's
and
like,
boys, I think girls and boys should be. I mean, there's schools
I
here.
don't.
There's a different boy, all girl. I mean, it's gonna make it more like girls are gonna want to be with boys more, and boys
Okay,
aren't
but you need to
around.
be taught
I
to deal with the opposite sex, and what
mean,
you need
girls
to
are
be
gonna be
taught.
wanting to be with boys more when boys aren't allowed to be
If
around.
they're being kept
But
from
you would
them,
get,
it's like
but
they're gonna
right,
try
but
to.
you get at least to train them on the importance of staying virgins. You train them not only just at home, but also in the school setting on what the role of a woman and the role of a man, and what
Right.
can happen if they come together. If you got them together already, she's still, no matter what the teacher's saying, she's still looking at Denzel,
Yeah.
and
But look,
Denzel
check
still
this out.
looking at.
Well, when I was in high school, they didn't even have you didn't have to have your parents' permission. They were trying to take girls to the clinic to get birth control pills.
Right,
Oh yeah, you
and they
can
can
do
have
that.
abortions
That's
too
that.
You know
without
what
But
I'm
telling the
saying?
parents.
So
but you know
it's
what,
like
It's
Nadia,
crazy.
you can't do that anymore because now the federal government is not involved. The overturning of Roe versus Wade has stopped that. Yes, girls could
mhm,
go get birth control, but not just birth control. They could go get
That's why
abortions.
I just said they can get abortions too
yeah,
Well,
without
now
telling
they
the parents.
can't because thank goodness it's state by state. Now, if your state still work like New York, you can still schools can still take girls to get abortions and birth control
mhm,
without the parents' consent. But
That's
I want to
crazy.
talk to
I
you
was
about
that.
this whole.
mhm.
I like what you said, Robin, about showing girls the importance of virginity.
Y'all, sorry, my
You,
necklace. I made it, so it keep
I was getting hot in here. I
Thank
had to
you.
take my jacket off. But you know what?
this
And
whole.
by the way, everybody, when I close my eyes, I'll be listening and tuning in. Especially, I'm having my little drink,
You
and
know
I'm
what? I
really.
wanted to say this too because my phone kept messing up and the computer kept messing up.
I was
You
saying
know,
something.
concerning the other young lady that was on.
But before you go, let me finish my statement.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear. I'm sorry, Nicole.
I
I
was
can't see
listening to
nothing now.
you, Robin. I was tuning in because I heard that story before about the girl and the boys. It's about self valuing yourself
Right. That's what I'm
and
saying.
knowing your worth. And we do. Don't let anybody tell you you're a feminist when you say, I know my
Right.
body is precious as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
We're treasures. That's the fact. Women need to value their bodies. That girl doing that, she saw her mom doing that or her sisters. You don't do that. You don't just give yourself to just anybody.
Or some of your peers. A lot, oftentimes, you
Yeah, a
got
lot
the
of the
peer
peers,
I
pressure.
was gonna say
my
Yeah.
that
mom
as
was just
far
telling me, look,
as
I
with
didn't know
this
if
is
she was doing
happening, and a lot
anything
of times
that
it
was
is
happening.
instilled. It's instilled into you to be like care about those things, but you see your peers. I don't know if y'all had the Valentine's Day where the girls are getting all the carnations from guys and candy and everything, and they're faster. They're dressed a certain way. They're getting the
Mm-hmm.
attention, and then you're not. So you're seeing this. You're seeing how boys reaction, and you want the attention from boys. So it's not necessarily that people aren't instilling those values in people
Yeah.
or anything like that, but we're still girls. We still want the
Right.
attraction of guys and everything. And if
Yeah.
we see that's how you get it, then we're gonna act that way, even if our parents are being like, hey, care about this. So it really depends, really, too. I understand what you're saying, Robin, but sometimes it's like a cultural thing. We need more cultural basis where we know the other children there are on the same wavelength as your children.
That's the reason why. That's
All
one
like
thing I can say about Islam. I respect it
here.
because
Yeah,
they
exactly.
separate the children.
Exactly. And
Right.
you know, all the children have the same cultural values because it's African centered or it's Muslim or anything like that. But if you have some kids with some values, some with not, and you're seeing the comparison, the peer pressure can get to you
Right.
Yeah.
even
But
if
see,
you
you
On
had
the
have
other
a
mentioned
great home
Islam
setting.
also, Robin. But Robin just hit on something that was kind of like a trigger for me because she had mentioned Islam where the children are separated. I came to the nation when I was probably about 24.
Say it again. I'm
And
sorry.
yes, I came to the nation
Hmm.
Nation of Islam when I was about 24.
Hmm.
And I even though the children separated, I mean, even when you're in the temple and you know the FOI sitting on one side and MGT sitting on the other side, and then you have the children separated too in another room or in a nursery, something like that. It's like they're going to grow up and they're still going to have hormones. They're still going to become
Yes.
pubescent.
We talk. I mean,
They're
but
still
that's
going to have feelings.
reality.
No, no,
That's
I
Right.
totally understand
normal.
where you going with that, but I'm just saying
But two
that
separate
my
entities. The
experience,
nation and Salafi is two separate things. I don't even
yeah,
know about the nation separating the children. I'm coming off the background of being Salafi upon the Sunnah.
hmm,
Not that I don't deal with the nation because I do.
right, right,
I deal with the nation a lot. But I'm
uh-huh,
saying I don't know how their situation is in school. But
right.
in
Well, I
with
can
the
give you,
Sunnah, with the Salafi, the Sunnah, those kids are taught from birth.
hmm, hmm,
My son went to Muslim school from the time he could talk. He was like 3,
hmm,
um, being raised up in Islam. As he went to Muslim schools,
hmm,
so they're taught the difference. And I don't, I don't know what the nation does. I'm assuming they might do something similar, but I don't
hmm.
really know.
Yeah, but
I really don't
when the
know.
boys are in MG, well, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, excuse me, when the boys are in FOY class, they taught what they're supposed to be doing as growing up as men. These are specialized classes.
Hmm.
When the young girls or the women as well are in MGT class, we're taught things that we're supposed to do and not supposed to do as girls and women. You know, it's called MGT, Muslim Girls Training. You know, and the FOI is the fruit of Islam. So there is specific training for the genders. And then you'll come together maybe on Sunday for temple meeting. Once the FOR sitting on one side, MGT sitting on the other side. So there's no intermixtion, even of that, you know, even of husband and wives. Y'all not sitting beside each other. The sister's gonna sit on this side, brother gonna sit on this side. So it's still that you're being taught and trained how to conduct yourself at home and abroad.
Hmm.
But it's like no guarantee, even though you're putting in that effort, you know, you have your protocol at home as well. You know, you're trying to drive home everything you trying to drive home at home that you've learned, you know, in your classes and trying to, you know, maintain that lifestyle, you know,
Hmm.
regardless. And but it's just nothing's just I'm saying what I'm saying is to say there's no guarantee as far as no matter how much you teach children, to do things this way or that way, that they're not going to end up doing it another way. And I've had so many examples or witnessed so many things where things can go wrong or awry from the opposite of what these children are taught. And these
But that's natural. You can raise your kids however you try to raise them.
yeah,
They still can grow up and do something
right,
different.
that's my point.
But I mean that's that. But I still say I would make the effort in trying. I just say,
And you're
well,
supposed
this
to,
parent
as
put
a
them in
parent,
school together, right?
not just
Everyone
being
should
in
make
a
an effort. Yes. I
right,
want to jump
not
in,
just from a
ladies.
religious
Can I-
standpoint, but just for the general purposes. You're supposed to do that as a parent. That's what you're supposed to do,
Yeah.
because it's a mother's first teacher. And then when you're at home, your parents are your caregivers. You know what I'm saying? So you're not there raising yourself; they're the caregivers. So that's your responsibility as a parent to teach and train before they go out the house. Even before my children started school, I taught them at home. So, and then you have, I mean, just down to scholastic lessons, how to care for your body, how to take care of your hygiene, how to pick up behind
Do you
yourself.
have daughters, Queen?
Pardon?
Do you have daughters?
Oh, yes, I have one daughter.
So you know what you're talking about.
I have
Yeah,
two
I kind
and
of
5
do
granddaughters.
sometimes.
No,
All
no,
we can do is the
Robin.
best we
Wait,
can.
first
That's
off,
all.
Robin, you have daughters and
I
granddaughters.
have
You are beautiful.
one is 41,
Both of
one
you
is
sisters,
38.
go ahead. Both of you sisters are amazing sisters. And
Thank you.
the thing that I think we need to do as women,
Hmm.
we need, and you were on, not, it was too long ago. We need to keep coming together as like that's our foundation, coming together, talking about what we need to do as women, talking to our women. And this makes our men feel good. Like, I love how you and Robin are talking about what do we do? How do we raise our daughters? This is how I
Yeah.
raise my daughters. Nobody's on the defensive here because I don't. Both of you sisters are
Oh, no,
stellar.
not at all.
Jaleesa, Sister Nadia,
Mhm.
Freedom, Sister Robin, Dulcinea, beautiful sisters. I do want to. We're gonna be closing out soon. I do want to open up the panel for questions. I'm gonna drop the link. I'm only gonna take about 5 minutes and wait for questions. And then after that, we're gonna close down. While we wait for questions, though, Sister Nadia, Delisa, everything I want you to just boom, hit us everywhere you are, where you're gonna be. Talk to us about what we need to do to stay in touch and on point with your movement. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to just piggyback on something real quick. I never imagined, after hearing the story from my son, that there are so many young black males that go through the same thing as females when it comes down to abuse, sexual abuse, all of that. And I never imagined. And now I hear older male victims, some are teenagers, some in their early 20s, and I hear them, they say it's like they have this image to hold, and they're embarrassed as a black man to come forward and to tell their truth. That it makes them look like they're less masculine or they're less man. So
Good point.
they don't talk about it. And they keep it and they sweep it under the rug, which causes to have other trauma like post-traumatic. Anything can trigger, and they may be around somebody, something may trigger them, or they may get in their feelings or feel a certain type of way or act upon. And not saying that they act upon in the same thing that happened to them, but they may be angry and things like that. And people that are around may not understand why this person is like this. And
Right.
like I said, I never knew that it was just as many males as there are females that have been through sexual abuse and been through that type of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
As far as, like I said, I see young African American males, the ones that I've talked to,
Yeah.
they seem like they have an image to hold. They're keeping it hidden. They don't want to speak about it. They don't want to come forward. They have girlfriends now and maybe wives and
Families.
maybe
Yeah.
their own families, and they just want to keep it a secret. And they just don't want to be looked at differently. However, I'm thankful that my child came forward to me. I'm thankful that he's able to now speak his mind. He is able to he knows what happened is wrong. He can accept it, and he's moving forward. He is
Mm-hmm.
healing. I have taken the steps. Like I said, he is in therapy. I have my own people that I confide in, whether it's I need to vent, cry, holler, scream, cuss, and then come back to.
And that's what I was going to say to you, sister. I mean, I feel so sorry for what happened to your son, but for you as his mom,
Mm-hmm.
girl, I would definitely need I would need a whole bunch of therapy, because I swear I would be wanting to kill anything moving that had anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, because I believe in eye for eye. I mean,
Mm-hmm. So do I.
seriously, I feel so bad because I feel the rage as from one mother to another mother. Girl, I'm telling you, I would need a whole bunch. I would probably need to lock myself up,
Yeah.
because I don't know what kind of animal I would turn into
Yeah.
if somebody
I'm
hurt
not
one
the
of my babies. And
I'm not the
especially like
forgiving
that.
type.
feel
I'm
like
not the
that.
forgiving type.
Me neither. Now, I mean, I think I am on some things, but I can't see myself
Something
forgiving.
like that. There's no coming
I
back. It ain't
can't
no
even.
forgiving.
There's
Ain't no
no
prayer that's
coming
gonna
back.
do it. None of that.
None of that. I'm with you
Are
on
we
that.
talking about what happened to Delisa?
Yes.
Yes. What happened to the
Well,
son?
Delisa, are we saying, Delisa, I
Yes.
want to ask you, would you like to kill him? I
She
know
can't
it's
answer
against the
that.
law. Wait.
She
First
can't
off,
answer that.
wait. First off, no, I'm going to say this. We know it's against the law. We know you wouldn't kill him, but do you feel like killing someone who does that to your child?
Yes. I would.
Okay, every mother who is worth a pot to piss in. You don't even have to be a good mama.
Mm-hmm.
This is you did a lot to bring that child forth. And for someone to violate, you see people abusing their children. And then when you come in and try to abuse them, they might beat you up or tell you off. So think about that.
If we
Even
were
the
in our
bad
culture,
moms.
we probably would kill him. Not even
Yes.
possibly. We would have killed him.
Yeah.
We're in our culture. He would be.
And we need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We need to get in
do our
touch
own, yeah.
with our culture, not kill. Not
No,
kill. Get in touch
I
with
mean,
our
like our own, take care of our own, not necessarily.
Right.
That's what we're supposed to be doing, but we don't have the we're not unified at that. We're not at that point yet. I don't know what it's going to take, and I seriously doubt it's going to be this generation at all, because there's too much infighting, it's too much backstabbing, it's too much backbiting, it's too much gossip, it's too much of a whole lot of things that I can unroll a scroll on and just start writing with a feather pen and just list everything. It's just horrible. We're not there yet. We're just not there yet, and we won't come together for nothing. We just
We need
won't.
our own elder circles. We need our own elder circles. We need our own.
We do.
I know
our
this
own
in
mafia.
Africa. We
need our own mafia. That's all the mafia is.
We need our
all
own.
The mafia, excuse me, Robin. All the mafia is just a community taking care of each other. Go ahead, Robin.
Taking our communities back.
What were you saying, Robin?
Women get together. I'm just saying, like you said, we need our own mafia, if that's what you want to call it. But we need our own that will go, and if something like this happens, we can make that phone call. Or this is happening. This is happening, and we don't need the what you would call the police. So you can go to jail and still be eating 3 times a day. You could still make phone calls. You could still do everything
Go
No,
get a trade, go to
same
school,
thing
talk
done
to
to me. Like my
friends.
girl
Yeah.
said with them 2 fingers, same thing done to you.
Y'all look up
You know
this.
what I'm saying?
There was a movie called Deacons for Defense or something like that, and it
What
was
law
actually a
abiding
movie.
citizen? Law
I've
law
heard of
abiding
Deacons for
citizen.
Defense.
Right. You should. If y'all haven't heard that, look that up. Back in the day, these brothers was out there for real, and you won't go just do something to none of us, and then everything gonna be sweet, or you just gotta wait to go to court or whatever. And like Emmett Till's mother said, and I'm not saying it verbatim, but whatever happens to any of us should be the business of all of us,
That's
and
right.
we're
Well,
not
I'm
there.
agreeing.
We are not there. Some of us,
yeah.
I mean, you have friends and stuff, that do stuff to other people, and it's like, well, he wouldn't do that, or she wouldn't do that. Oh, I know them. They wouldn't. You don't know nothing. You don't know what's
Well,
in a
People need to
person's
fear
mind
the
unless they do it
brotherhood.
to you. Or just like you
let
be in
me
a relationship with somebody, like these brothers, like they may be in a nation or whatever. It was like, well, this is a good brother. You should think about getting into a betrothal with him or whatever, because he's a good brother. He's a good brother. And you get betrothed, and then you marry this person, and you find out this is a total nutcase. You going off the recommendation of the whomsoever in the temple, if you're in a mosque or whatever. That's a recommendation for somebody. Just like with the situation with Delisa, her friend,
Hmm.
boyfriend's friend, was a recommendation. Yeah, this is a good guy. This is a good guy that, he can take you in. Y'all can get out the shelter. Y'all can go there. He has the room, and then they had a discussion. Well, yeah, so you come on over here with your sons or whatever. I got room for you. You just handle the, I know you're working. You handle the, utilities. I got everything else. So it seems like a good fit to benefit everybody all the way around. At least temporarily until she moved out and got her own place. And then you find out you dealing with a monster. So, but you don't know. And like I was talking to Asada about it today, you just don't know until you know. It's not like you got a crystal ball or you could just foresee something like this happening when the person that's been presented to you has been anything but that.
Right.
Delisa,
So,
why
I
couldn't you
mean,
go stay with the boyfriend instead of his best
Okay,
friend?
so I want before you answer that question, Delisa. That's a good question.
I can answer that.
I know. Before you do, I want to shout out. Thank you, Max Bird. Thank you for placing that information about the debate. But I want to shout out the mods. Thank you so much for the work you do. Don't forget to share these sisters' information. Delisa, Sister Nadia of Coalition, Underserved, Missing Virginia. And I just want to shout out King Shaw, new. Get it? Let me get it. Let me get it there. Hold on. I know he's in here. Because he's in here. Wait a minute, y'all. Shout out Silent K, my brother. New Black World Order.
mhm.
Please go to his brother's channel. Please subscribe. He's had a tragedy where his beautiful daughter, who was my angel, was taken.
Yes.
And Sister Nadia, she helped the brother on that. But I just want to say that I just want to do a couple, service announcements. Okay, go ahead, Sister Delisa, and then we're gonna close out after that. After you answer that question, I'm gonna keep bringing Sister Nadia. I told you when you call, you're here.
Thank you, Queen.
You
I
come
appreciate
on. Yes, we put everything down for you. We
Thank
were
you.
going through our transsexual, transgender stream. We do have some guests, right? Right, Robin. Robin is a beast queen. She's a goddess when it comes to getting guests. But we put that aside and we brought the sisters on tonight because it's important. But anyway, Robin, ask your question again, and then let Sister Delisa really address that. That's a great question. And then we'll go ahead and do our closeout.
The question that I asked was, why couldn't you stay with him? And if he knew something, let me just add that, about his friend, why would he allow you to move with him?
Because he didn't have a pot to piss in, nor a window to throw it out of himself. And he supposedly kept me hidden from the dirt that he was doing outside of our relationship. So I could live with him. And to this day, he still resides at his mother's address.
Oh, girl.
Um, so he did not have a place for me to come to. That's why he was happy that I got to move in with the monster, because it gave him authority to come over and be there, have a party, want to take me out. It was all to his benefit as well.
Mm.
That's my personal opinion. That's how I feel after
Well, do
learning.
you ever feel like doing something to him? I gotta ask that.
I hate him.
Don't say that on this live. Wait till the back chat. I love you, Robin. Yeah, let me say this to Lisa. We
I have
can
a
talk
lot
to
of
you about.
anger and animosity, and I do not have respect for my ex-boyfriend. I recently posted him along with my story on Facebook. I was told to take it down. I did, but I'm glad I waited to take that original post down, because in that post it told me that basically he can do a lot to ruin my son's case, and my best bet was to fall back. So that came from my ex-boyfriend. And with that being said, that put closure to me knowing that he knew that his ex-best friend was a monster.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I felt that from the first time
took
you
the
said something.
post down, but I'm glad that he responded, because I've been asking for acknowledgement from him, but I did it on the public airway. And with his response, gave me what I didn't want what I saw, but it gave me the clarification to know he knew what that man was capable of all this.
Mhm.
Wow, thank you so much, Sister Delisa, for sharing your very, very painful story. And shout out and much love to your son, LaRon. His name
Yeah,
is LaRon. Thank you. We want to bring you back. I want everybody to follow you, follow the work you do with Sister Nadia, and the other queens who do the work with Coalition Underserved, Missing Virginia. Uh, I'm, I consider that your closeout, but you go ahead and close out, and then I'm going to move on to Sister Nadia, and then we're going to close down the stream.
Okay. Was there any specific question you have for me, Queen?
I just want you to tell people, because you brought this beautiful sister to us.
Mm-hmm.
Tell people how we can get in touch with you, where they can see if you're not here, because you're it's few and far between the streams. But
Right.
where people can see you on a regular, Nadia, you're
Okay.
amazing. I love you,
Thank you.
beautiful,
Likewise.
and you brought Delisa to us. I want people to know where they can find you, and I want you to say your final statements.
But this my name on here, Nadia M. I have another page, Nadia Mariam Abasa, but don't try to get me on there because Facebook got me locked out of there and I get kicked off like periodically anyway. So, but this time I can't get back in there. So I had to put up this page, Nadia M. So you can reach me here, send me a friend request. You can message me. It's just a lot. Delisa's like Asada and my little baby. And her sons, I always call them my little nephews, whatever. And I'm sorry, I get a little emotional. We'll talk about this because
Well, while you hold on, let me say this.
yeah.
See, when we hear her, it's not wrong for people to come in and love on your children.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the problem. Like Delisa, he came in loving on her children. There are brothers who love on. I have a brother. He's a family friend. He's my father's friend. He's been loving on my son since my son was 3. My son's 18. I have a 12-year-old daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and he loves on them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that's scary about the pedophile.
Yes.
So like Sister Nadia is loving on Delisa's children. So you know what I mean? Like, so I'll just hand it back to you. It's sad that we have to look at it like that. Like, who's really loving on them? Like, it's not wrong for a man to tickle boys, but You know what I mean? Like if a man is grabbing a boy, you know, roughing him up,
Yeah.
it's like I always have that thought with the man I mentioned about my dad's father. I mean, my dad's friend, my father's friend. I kind of, let me tell you real quick a story and then I'll hand it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was moving and he was helping me move my entire home
Okay.
on his truck. And he said, okay, I'm going to take my son. He said my son's name. So I'm taking him with me. My son was 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was going to go drop this stuff off at the storage and come back with my son.
Right.
I'm crazy. This doesn't mean, oh yeah, Nepal, that's how, no, it's not how you should be, but it's how you have to be. You hear what I'm saying? It's not how you should be, it's how you have to be. When he drove away, I saw that truck driving away, somebody kicked to me and said, no, I dropped everything. I mean, girl, I left the house open. I told my daughter, get in the car. I was behind his car, following him. I've known him since I was a little girl, since I was 2.
Right.
But I said, what if he gets my son there and molests him? That's an insult to him.
Yeah.
But I followed behind him, and my daughter, she was only 3, and she's like, Mommy, I'm scared for Bra. I said, it's okay, baby. We're watching. And this is a friend, a family friend. So he loved, this is the thing. Where do we go? You, Nadia, you love Delisa's children.
Yes, absolutely. And her too.
Where do we go with that?
It's just
nothing happened, by the way. I'm laughing because I didn't care. I stayed at the corner, I watched him unload the stuff, and they just got back in the car. He never, anyway, but still.
But you didn't know.
Who does that? But who does that? Who does that?
Well, you know, you had that maternal instinct that you just had.
It's because I've heard stories, Queen. Yeah. Because I've heard Delisa's story. It's not even like, it's like, I'm scared.
And you should be.
Her story is the first story I've heard.
Right. And you should be. You have to be cautious. And then sometimes when you let your guard down, because you trust somebody, because they've instilled their trust in you, you're not even feeling like you're letting your guard down. It just becomes innate. This is somebody I know. I've known them a long time. I know they wouldn't do it. Sometimes that wouldn't even cross your mind because you've known somebody a certain amount of time. They've never exhibited that behavior where you would have even had the notion that they would do something like that. So, like you say, you've heard so many of these cases that when your son went off with the family friend, you just kind of panicked and you were like, well, no, I don't know what's about to happen. And they would just go into the storage, but still you just didn't know. So you just went into protective mode. But, I love my people. I try to do what I can whenever I can, on whatever level. And I put up a post not that long ago, probably just the other day. Sometimes I think I just love and care too much and become too trusting of people sometimes, and then they disappoint you. And just not really anything you can do about that. So yeah, I just have really, really severe trust issues, but I still try to put myself out there to try to help whomever I can. So
I am like that too, though. I'm very overprotective of my kids. Growing up, they couldn't even get off the porch. I don't even think they walked across the street till it was like 12. I never let my kids do nothing. But you know what? To this day, my daughter still say, Mom, thank you for how you raised us. At first, we was mad. We felt like you never let us do anything, never let us spend the night at people's house. Unless it was like my sister or something. I never let my kids do anything. And well, I let them do stuff, but not hardly anything like go over people's houses and things of that nature, because I just know how people are. You're not going to get my kids over there and do anything. You can, at least I'm going to try to make the attempt to stop it. Yeah. I know when they get like 14, 15, 16, they're going to be sneaking and doing things, but I'm still saying I'm going to make the attempt.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Try my best. I feel so bad for this sister because I'm telling you, if she would have called me, if I'd even known her, she'd have called me. I think I'd have been on the airplane. And I said, girl, don't call the cops because we're going to deal with him. But that's me. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I am.
And then a lot of the time he was already locked up for other stuff.
Right.
with other children. So it's like you couldn't even really get to him because he's already locked up. And it was just then he's still
Right.
been, the court a few times. And it won't like you go to court and he comes home. No, he don't come home. He just comes out of his cell. He comes in there, hears his charges, and then he goes right back to his home
Yep.
in the cell. So
I
that's
will fight you
how
all
that
day
is.
long for my kids. All day
And
long.
so we're just hoping when he goes to trial in February, um, these others have just been hearings, but when he goes to trial in February, just hoping that he's found guilty, without a shadow of reasonable doubt or any other kind of doubt, and he goes to the penitentiary because that's where he
Is
belongs.
LaRon testifying?
He is. He has to.
Delisa, I want to tell you, thank you for coming on. Thank you, Sister Nadia.
Hmm.
I want to say to everyone, thank you for joining another Sip Down. This one isn't, sometimes we have fun on the Sip Down, but this
Yeah.
one is heartbreaking, and it's important though. I'm so we're so honored to have these sisters on. I know you out there, my loved ones, my friends, my internet family. A lot of you are sitting here saying, "Wow, that story hits home." Because I'm going to
Yeah.
say it for the record, your story, Sister Nadia,
Hmm.
hit home, hit home. So for
Absolutely.
me, so it's like it doesn't matter what class of family you are, upper class, middle class, lower class.
Yeah.
These things happen to you. I want to say I love you to everyone out there. Peace to the family. Peace to the darkest minds of life. Shout out to the HOK. Thank you to my beautiful mods. Thank you, Max Bird. Thank you to Hootie Silent K. I saw my sister Tony 42, Anita Sun. I can't name all of you. That'd be wrong. That'd be wrong if I just name a few of you, so I shouldn't name any. But anyway, please tune into the next Sip Down and follow these sisters. You put your information. The brother, as you see, Sister Nadia's information is up there.
Hmm.
I shared your information, Sister Delisa, and I love you. We're supporting you. Come to us whenever you need something, and we'll be there. Ladies, my co-host, you want to close out before we go?
Sure. Well, I just want to say this was really touching, and my heart goes out to everything that you've been through. I don't know what kind of mindset I'm gonna be in tonight when I go to sleep, but it ain't gonna be no good mindset.
Tony
Right.
T.
Um, like Nepal said, we are here for you in any way that you need us, and I hope you can read through that.
Mm.
But
Yes, shout out to Brother Tony Chima. Yes. Go on, sister. Go on.
and
Go on.
well, I'm gonna just say peace and black power
Peace and black
and
power.
sister power,
Uh,
sister power.
That's right.
Yes, and shalom to everyone. Just backing up what Robin says, like, please let us know if there's anything that we can do, if there's something you need as far as the court case or anything from here. We just
Thank
want to
you.
be whatever support that we can give for you, and thank you for sharing your story. It's very important, that people hear this because this is a real thing. And peace and blessings, and especially to your son, LaRon. Let him know that he's a survivor. He's
Hmm.
an inspiration. What he's doing now doesn't make him weak at all. He's showing his strength of
right.
Yeah.
just stepping up into other people's lives. And that's just going to make such a difference in of the world that he's doing. And just let him know that he's an inspiration.
I will tell him. And I appreciate you all for listening and taking the time to hear my story about my child and what I had to endure. And still, I'm enduring. But like I said, some days are better than others. So
Hmm.
I've been maintaining, and I've been so far I've been a little better. So I'm taking a day at a time, but I know the time will be coming close. Um, and I know that's when my anxiety and things kick in. But I'm just gonna
Hmm.
try to be as strong as I can for my son and just be there. And I also will have to testify myself. So he is not alone, and he knows that Mama gonna fight. But he know Mama
Hmm.
got supporters, and he know he got supporters as well. So
Thank
on the
you.
behalf of him and my youngest son, we all thank you. and we appreciate taking the time of hearing this story, putting it out there, and bringing awareness so that other victims and other survivors, I don't like to say victims, but the survivors,
Mm-hmm.
so they can have a chance to come out and tell their story too, whether you're man, female, boy, or girl.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate this, and I really do. I love y'all too.
We love you, sis. You're a hero. You're a beautiful mom. Just keep on. I love the mama bear. I love that energy. I talked about that in my class. Dulcineism was in my class when I said, they see the black woman's manly. The black woman's manly. The black woman's so manly. That's not manly, masculine energy.
No.
That is mother energy.
Right.
And the mother will fight to the fiercest level.
All day long.
Al-Shaddai, which is in the Bible, the Most High, that is originally a female deity. Don't get mad. Shaddai means breast, nursing breast in Hebrew. Okay, I'll leave you with that. All right. Peace to the dark, smart, and light. Peace, everybody. Shout out to the family.
Peace, everybody.
I love you, Tony Chiba. I love you, wife. What'd you say, sis?
I said peace, blessings, and black power.
That's right, black power.
Yes.
Black power.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes.